minor league baseball now.
Let's do it.
And we're going with the Bridgeport Bluefish first.
Bluefish.
The Bluefish are coming up to the All-Star game as well.
Yep.
And actually, Irving, 4 of the Bluefish were named to the All-Star team.
Yep. We have from their squad with 4 players: Daniel Majora, who's an infielder, outfielder Austin Crum, catcher Yusuf Carter, and finally pitcher Hunter Jones. 4 players from the Bridgeport Bluefish, which you may see in the majors sooner rather than later.
Well, and that's a good possibility. The idea behind the Atlantic League is not that it's affiliated with Major League Baseball. It's an independent league, and we could see them in the majors. As a matter of fact, one of the Bridgeport pitchers was actually picked up by the Reds.
Wow. Yep.
Kanekoa Teixeira. I believe it's Kanekoa. Yeah, Kanekoa Teixeira. No relation to Mark Teixeira. If you were thinking about that. He's been picked up by the Reds as of yesterday. And so he'll be going to AAA Louisville of the International League starting next week. So, it could happen to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Officially, they're not connected to MLB, but MLB still has that connection with any
absolutely.
talent. Anywhere there's talent, they know about it. So
and they can easily buy the contracts. That's what it is. They're purchasing the contract of the player.
Do you know? Well, let me just in a layman's terms. So when a team purchases a contract, are they saying, "Hey, you're paying him 50 grand.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay him 50 grand"? Because to me, if I'm going to the majors and I'm getting paid 50 grand while the guy next to me is getting paid.
Well,
is that how it works?
Honestly, I don't know. And it's something we'll have to either talk about with Viviana Velasquez or maybe we'll have Paul Herman back on.
Okay.
And as far as I think it is that the contract, so that there's no breach of contract.
Okay.
Basically, it's similar to the situation that was with the NBA,
right?
Where the Boston Celtics agreed to nullify the contract with Doc Rivers, so that he would go sign a new contract with the Clippers, and there's no breach of contract, legal disputes.
Right.
So I think that's the same thing where, the major league team, this case being the Reds, pay the Bluefish a certain amount of money to release Teixeira from his contract with no breach of contract legal mess.
Right.
And then they'll sign him to another contract.
I understand what you're saying.
So I think it's a similar. If I'm wrong, tweet me. Tweet us. Let us know what if you know the actual example. But definitely that was a big news in the NBA.
That's awesome.
Excuse me.
MLB. So.
But it also works the same way for the Bridgeport Bluefish, where former big leaguers could come down to Bridgeport, and that happened where the Bluefish signed Ruddy Lugo, pitcher.
Okay.
He makes his way to Bridgeport for his Park City debut, and let's see, he played with the Long Island Ducks last year, and before that he was with the Tampa Bay Rays in 2006, and in 2007 he was with the Rays and the Oakland Athletics, and he is the brother of the former Major League veteran shortstop Julio Lugo.
Yep. Wow. Okay. Well, transactions being made.
Yeah. So it works both ways.
It is kind of exciting when you see a guy you saw playing in Major League, playing at a lower league level, and you get to see him. It's pretty exciting.
It is, and it's even better when you have the opportunity to see a big name player like Jose Canseco when he was playing with the Newark Bears, and even guys that came through New Haven, like Quentin McCracken, Angel Echevarria, and some of the other ones that had their career and are come back down. They play for Bridgeport, so it's definitely a very cool site. You follow their career.
Right. I wonder, has there been a player that you guys feel like, you don't want to see him at the, it's exciting to see a great player, move on with their careers, but are there players that you guys don't want to see? Like, I'd love to see A-Rod, who doesn't have play for the New Britain Rockcats, that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think A-Rod is probably one of those players that they wouldn't want to see. But A-Rod is going through his rehab stint. He played with Charleston, the Yankees' low single-A affiliate. the Charleston River Dogs, and he went 0 for 4 in 2 games with them.
Well.
And he'll be moving up to Tampa. So he'll be back shortly. Whether he actually plays on the field or not, I don't know.
Right.
That's another thing we'll talk about a little later is A-Rod and his comeback.
Sure.
Jeter's comeback as well. He's been
Yep.
cleared to rehab in AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. So, the Yankees are trying to get their team together.
Right.
They are right now in third place,
Third
6
place.
games out of first, behind the Red Sox, who have the best. It hurts me to say it, the best record in the American League.
Wow.
And only 2 more losses than Pittsburgh, who has the best record in the majors.
Right.
So, definitely I'm hoping the Franken-Yanks, hashtag Franken-Yanks, I hope they come back and with the players coming back.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of you, a lot of you know this, but like with baseball, you could have the best record the entire season. It means nothing in playoff
absolutely.
time. So you just never know,
Yeah, no, it's true. And as a matter of fact, speaking of playoff time, the one thing about the Atlantic League that's different than the majors is how they do their playoffs.
Right, yes. Correct. Yeah.
I believe they take the first half winners of the 2 divisions. In the Freedom Division, the Sugarland Skeeters came in first place, 47-23.
Right.
They automatically go into the playoffs.
Okay.
Into the LCS equivalent. And in the Liberty Division, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs came in first place at 37-32.
Okay.
Now, what happens now is they restart the season going into the second half. So it'll be the winner of the first half plays the winner of the second half.
Oh, wow.
If the same team wins the second half, won the first half, they play a wild card team from their division. Wow. So in first place in the Freedom Division for the second half at 3-0 is the Sugarland Skeeters.
Okay.
And in the Liberty Division, the Bridgeport Bluefish are in first place at 3-0. So it gives teams a chance to get to the playoffs where they might have had a really bad first half, where Bridgeport Bluefish came in last at 23-47. So it gives them a restart.
Right.
So I am enthralled, and I think that should be a great way to do playoffs. Because right now, leading the wild card would be the Somerset Patriots at 46-26, and the wild card goes by the entire season. So either way, I think that looks good for the definitely for the Bridgeport Bluefish.
Right. Well, what do you think about the way that? What are your thoughts on that sort of setup for their schedule? Like, that to me sounds wild. I've never heard something like that. Like,
yeah,
you separate one. It's like more than 2 seasons in one season.
Exactly.
So
I think it's ingenious.
Okay.
Because it gives teams, and especially with the Atlantic League, or minor leagues, I should say, where you don't know if you're going to have the same team all season long.
Right.
It gives teams a great way to get into the playoffs that, say, had a bad first half. And now they maybe got some new players, or their team assigned them new players or whatever, and now they have the opportunity to come back and make it to the playoffs.
Right.
So I think it's good for minor league. I wouldn't recommend it for the majors.
Why not?
Well, because quite honestly, I think the major leagues, it goes by the full season. So, I mean, the only way that your team would change is if you make the changes of, sending guys down, bringing guys up, trades, Whereas in minor league, you don't have that option.
Right.
Because if you're in the actual minor league baseball system, your parent team controls everything.
I understand.
So, like, the Minnesota Twins has control over who's on the Rockhats.
Right.
Not the Rockhats personnel general manager or whatever.
I understand what you're saying.
In terms of something like the Bluefish, they have control to a point, but at the same time, as we saw with Teixeira, they can be picked up by a team at any time. And you don't want to say, oh no, well, we have them for the year,
right,
because everybody wants to get to the majors.
Right.
So I would recommend it for minor league, but not major leagues.
That makes sense. Okay. All right.
So that's it for